Glide in the house, yo, coming to you live. Victor Glide on these man, and I want to talk about some stuff, man, out here, because I keep seeing people making it about them. This doesn't belong to you. This belongs to everybody, man. This is our culture. Lots of us were involved to get it started, man. It wasn't just one person, one group, one borough, and we got to stop the nonsense. So I'm going to wait until we get some people out here. Truth is gonna set us free, fellas. It's gonna set us free, man. We gotta share this with everybody. Let's talk about it. It's time to unite. This division ain't getting us nowhere. Nowhere. What's up, Bird? Where my peoples at? Sorry it took me so long to get out here, man. All right. I don't want to get caught up with music and not being able to talk, man. So, lately I've been seeing a lot of people like constantly talking about it, man. Constantly talking about their history, which ends up really being his story. Because, all right, let's talk about it. Everybody's like, it's the Bronx, right? But now we found out that, Douglas Cologne was one of the top, first guys that was dancing in the top and having fun with a bunch of other people, some from the Bronx, some from other places, right? And Douglas Cologne is from Manhattan. So, and I'm not going to say that the Bronx didn't do a lot of things to create and everything, but it's not just the Bronx, y'all. And y'all got to stop it already. Everybody, and especially you guys keep teaching this to every single person. And don't even mention a lot of other things. Now, I got much respect for the people in the Bronx. They came up with a lot of stuff, back in the days. But who were you battling? That's the question I want to know. Because you guys keep talking about yourselves, but you're not talking about who you were battling. And where did they come from? And you're going to tell me that the boroughs didn't go to the parties and see and then learn? And how long was it that the Bronx was the only one doing it? Come on, man. Let's make sense about this. Right? We all know all the boroughs like to get united and go. If there's a party happening in the Bronx, from Manhattan, we're going. From Queens, we're going. And another thing is like, everybody talks about dynamic being from Queens, and most of us were. But I'm from Manhattan. I don't see anybody talking about the Manhattan boys. No history is talked about them. And they were the ones battling all you guys in the Bronx. A lot. How come we don't talk about them? And let's be honest. Back in the days, way back in the days, it was people just doing footwork, chairs, some swipes, and a backspin. And then Legs comes out and says to everybody that he created windmills. Let me tell you a little story. When I started dancing, and I am a product of them too, they just don't know it. Because the first person I saw, late in 77, was Frosty Freeze dancing. So I'm dancing, and I was the shyest kid on the planet before that, but it changed my life. And I started dancing, right? But I was a Manhattan boy during that time. And nobody talks about the Manhattan boys. Frosty was from Manhattan, lived in Manhattan. Ken lives in Manhattan. All these people lived in Manhattan. I know. I lived a couple of blocks away from them. But people don't talk about it. And yes, there were people before us in the Bronx doing some stuff. You guys were doing some stuff. 6-step, some top rock, and a couple of moves on the floor. Let's just keep it real. And I'm not here to badmouth anybody. I'm really not. I'm tired of people talking about it. And then now I saw a comment, and I'm not being mean about it, but the truth is somebody's saying, Brooklyn, how do they call rocking? When it was done over here, top. Come on, man. If you were the only ones doing it and they didn't watch you, which one is it? Did they watch you, Brooklyn? Or did they create their own thing? And then now you want to add a name to it. You want to add a name to what they're doing in Brooklyn. Like Outlaw Up Rockin'. It's called Brooklyn Rock. For me, it was called Brooklyn Rock. 79, 80, 81, Brooklyn Rock. That's all I knew it was. Are you Brooklyn? We're Brooklyning. But no, you guys have the right from the Bronx to add a title to what their moves are, but nobody can tell you guys anything. How does that help our culture? At the end of the day, what are we doing when because there's a lot of us that are still here, but once we die, where does the history go? It's chaos. And I'm willing to sit down with a lot of you guys from the past, before me, a little after me, and talk about, and let's ask all the main people, lots of people, to see what they say. Because just, I keep getting schooled by people that are 10 years younger than me, telling me my history, where some moves came from. No. I'm the historian. I love you, Nez, but you never, ever interviewed me and my people. You never interviewed the New York City Breakers. You never interviewed, the Incredible Breakers. And these guys were the ones that were freaking kicking butt during my time. Okay? To me, it was dynamic. And I'm sure they're going to say it their way too. But it was New York City Breakers. And when New York City Breakers had Chino and Brian, they were a problem. Then the Incredible Breakers also. Body became, this Scrambling Feet. Nobody even talks about Lower East Side Scrambling Feet. And before I get to Rocksteady, all of these people were much better. I'm sorry. Until Kiriaki and Buck came, all they did was footwork and chairs. And Frosty was like the one that was the most incredible doing crazy things. Different. Not just footwork, guys. Let's just keep it real. And we need to sit down and get the real history of this together. Not one person talking about it. Top Rock is somebody entering the circle when he's ready to go down Rock and do his move and then come back and end with Top Rock and get out of the circle. Brooklyn is two people going at it head to head. Now, in that little picture that I posted before, that's my brother George. He was the original Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze called him and said, hey, what are we going to do about our names? We're not going to fight about it because my brother was a badass. This is history. This is the real stuff. And then the Lincoln Center, right? If you guys were doing amazing moves, Rocksteady, right? And TBB, and because you were all there. I remember you were all there, right? But you guys didn't go out and up rock against us. You didn't have a chance. The only one that you had was Doze. And Doze was average at best. So you had other crews. People don't know that. Lincoln Center, it wasn't just dynamic against Rocksteady. It was dynamic against Rocksteady plus. There was 4 crews against us. Now, if we were so bad, right, and we weren't important in the history, because everybody keeps dismissing us, and I'm not dismissing anybody. There's other bad motherfuckers, bro. I would not be as good. We would not be as good. We would not practice as hard if it wasn't from the Incredible Breakers. If it wasn't for the New York City Breakers. They gave us problems. Rocksteady never did. Just never did. Right? If you are better than us, show the Lincoln Center battle. Legs, I challenge you. Take it out and show the whole thing. Remember that combo that we did? Where I was doing a glide one way, Spinner was doing floats the other way real fast. And then also we went into windmills and then our sneakers got together. And Kid Freeze jumped on the middle of that and did a head spin in 81. Why are you not sharing it? You know why? Because then the proof is in the pudding. And you guys don't have any, respect after that. Africa Bambaataa chose us. He chose us to do his, his videos. He chose us. And then you went around and said that we were ball busters, which was a lie. That's a lie. We were not ball busters. We had problems with Zulu and ball busters. It's a blatant lie. And then also that at Lincoln Center that we were running away and that people were, that there were so many people from your group and crew. I lived in Amsterdam projects, people. Lincoln Center is Amsterdam projects behind it. And everybody from the projects was behind me. We weren't running nowhere. It's not true. The truth will set us free. And now, did Rocksteady have a place? Yes. Legs was like, let me tell you, when I first started after I saw Frosty, there was Kid Saucer, Weeble, a couple, I don't remember the other two, and then Legs. Legs was the last one that I went in battle. Do you know that I went on the train with a cardboard box and a boom box to his house, knocked on his door, and said, I'm taking you out. You're the last one of my 5. Come downstairs and we're going to battle. But here's the kicker, because he says he invented windmills. So we were battling, and he said, oh, you repeated that move. Guess what that move was? It was windmills. I was doing windmills first into a chair, baby, then back, coming back out of it. And then the next one, I was doing windmills to my head. And he said, you repeated that move, so I beat you. That move. Windmills. And I can't even see him do windmills now. I'm 56 years old. I'm going to be 57 years old, and I can still do windmills. By the way, my generation got their butt kicked by the generation after in all these, battles of the gods. These guys, they're the wrong people. If you want to battle some gods, go after Chino and Brian or Pexter or, I don't know if any of them are still dancing, but go after some of us. I'm ready. I'll be ready in 6-7 months, and you're going to see that dynamic was no joke. But neither was New York City Breakers. But neither was Incredible Breakers. And the first time that it was televised, because, the history just was televised, was That's Incredible. And I was 15 years old, and I wrote a letter to That's Incredible. I wrote a letter to them about breaking. And then we got on, and Rocksteady, we picked Rocksteady to get on with us. We picked Rocksteady to get on with us. That was in 81 as well, after Lincoln Center. And we traveled to Europe. If you got it, look, 1983. We were in Europe. I can show it to you. I still have it. Were you guys traveling? Because you guys say that you guys were the first travel. Maybe you did before that. I don't know. Because we didn't know each other that well. But, I didn't know what your team was doing. But I know we were traveling. And here's the deal. None of this matters. What's happening right now, let me tell you, USA Breaking. First of all, I love what they did when I went to Texas, man. They did some amazing things. Their unity is out the door. Omar, I think that you're an incredible, I love the way that you made it professional the whole time. I'm proud of you, my friend. And I'm glad to be, and I want to be part of it. I want to support you guys and share. But we need to get our people in a table to talk about who, what, when, and where. Because it matters. People should know our history, not his story. And it's not just me. I know that, look, you guys were amazing. I looked up to you. But there was a time when we passed you. And that's okay. And the thing about it with you guys too, is that you forcing just footwork and that's the most important thing. It's a very important thing. Without it, it doesn't matter, right? Without it, we're just doing other things. I agree with you on that. But would we be anywhere? Would we be traveling if it was just footwork and chairs and backspins? No, it would not be anywhere. We have to embrace that it's growing. We came in, Dynamic came in. Ask Pex, man. Pex told me too, man. He's like, you guys created the floating, everything in the air and stuff like that. And we did. And then they got it faster. And they put the two of them together. And they were great. And Chino and Brian and them were faster like little rats like flying around, breaking like the speed limit. It was ridiculous what happened. And it was beautiful. And we don't have to be hating each other. We all contributed to this. And we need to pass the torch to the future, right? I hate that you guys think that the guys that are flying around now, and it's because you guys, those are my babies and my grandbabies. They're flying around doing crazy things. And you know what? Those people are going to have babies and babies. It's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. And what we need is to support each other. Because right now, we have other people that are trying to take charge of what's going on with our community because we keep fighting about some bullshit. Who cares? Let's build the future together, man. Let's stand tall together and build it together. Again, I saw Frosty. I was the shyest kid on the planet. And let me tell you, I was born to be a b-boy because I got shot in my neck. And it was spitting blood. completely, jugular vein was open, blasting out freaking blood. But just blasting out blood. Look, Boston has a lot to do with it too. Lino and his crew, they came in too, and then they had their time and glory. We all have to talk about the things that we all did. It wasn't just one group, and it didn't happen from one leg. And stop saying just the Bronx, the Bronx, the Bronx, man. It's a New York thing. And yeah, maybe you guys did it for a week or two, but somebody was watching you already and practicing in Brooklyn, practicing in Queens, practicing in Manhattan, and practicing in Staten Island probably. Come on. What the Bronx was doing it for a year when nobody, what, you're battling each other, you're looking in the mirror? Here's the deal. Why don't you guys talk about your best battle? Come on. Like, who was it that took you out? I'm going to tell you about Lep. Lep took me out. It was in Voxies. His thing, everything that he threw at me was the best version of it. And everything I threw, it wasn't my best. Maybe I was, whatever it was, Lep kicked my ass. I remember that. Ozrock kicked my ass too. It was closer than the one with Lep. But those are the people that battled and beat the crap out of me. You don't know the things that we invented. I don't know the things that you invented. And just because some old school guy tells you his story doesn't mean it's true. Unless you go and get it from everybody. You talk to all the people that were around in that culture. And please don't try to yesterday somebody sent me videos of Easy Rock and this. I know all those people from back in the day. And I know what Top Rock is. And my brother was one of the best up Brooklyn Rockers. And that's another thing too. All you Brooklyn Rockers are denying that. None of you have ever mentioned my brother's name. And you can ask Fable and you can ask Fast Break. And here's another thing. Everybody talks about footwork. Do you even know who Wavy Legs was? That boy was a problem. But just because you don't know about him, it doesn't mean that he wasn't better than all the other people that you worship and talk about. He was like a ballerina, man. One of the first ones doing crazy things back in the day from Ecuador. Wavy Legs. Kid Freeze invented continuous headspins. What is your stories? I'll tell you a story real quick. How did Freeze come up with continuous headspins? He saw me when I first did windmills. He saw me. He saw me spin, catch, spin, catch, spin, catch. So he started spinning on his head and catching. Do you have a story like that? Well, you just make shit up. So then the next week he saw me tapping for my glides, and then he started tapping for his headspins. Wavy Legs created one for us. Maybe you guys did it before, but we never seen it. So there's history on all parts that we have to before we die, we have to put this in a book together. We have a responsibility for the future of our culture. Stop making it about you. I don't give a crap if you think that it should be in the Olympics or not. You wanted it to stay at footwork. You know who you are? Ken, I love you, man, but you were good. The problem you have is Freeze. Were you better than Freeze back in the day? No. You were not. And every time you went down, Freeze attacked you. Come on, man. Why aren't you guys not talking about this? Why are you guys not talking about? Why are you not sharing who you're like TBB? Weren't you guys battling the Manhattan Boys? I never hear you guys talk about the people from other places. All I hear is blah, me. And also people who are organizers, if you organized some stuff in the past, great for you, man. You were part of the progression. But you know what? It doesn't stop with us. This is going to happen forever. And unless we unite, man, it's just going to be, we're going to be getting killed, man. We should be making a living in doing this. And I have. I own my own entertainment company, and I've been doing that for years. And I left the scene, left in charge with my son, who is an amazing young man, doing amazing things for our culture. He doesn't make it about himself. When are we going to grow up and stop this? Stop, you can't tell me that the Bronx is doing everything, but then now all of a sudden, Brooklyn, how do they change the name? For their own style. It's Brooklyn Rock, yo. It's not Top Rock. It's Brooklyn Rock. And let me tell you, you guys don't even know how amazing my brother and Junie June, who's another one in that picture. Junie June. They would put one hand on top of the other one and rock people together. Rock them together. And when you try to hit this person, they would pull them this way. You ever seen that? You guys have never even seen that. You don't even know what that is. So you gotta know your history. And I don't know it all. I don't know it all. I know that Weeble was spinning like this, but he wasn't tapping and spinning around and going fast. I scraped my face on concrete doing windmills and glides. Scraped my face. Because there was no spinning floors until I started going. Then we came out with cardboard. See, this is how back we go back. Right? Cardboard. And if you ask the hitters, Dynamic was out there first. And the only reason why our history is not because we had greed in our crew. There were guys in my crew that wanted me to leave people behind, and I said no. And so they took my manager and changed the name, and a year and a half later, they quit. But Dynamic's still here, long, strong. And we all, I'm telling you, Chino and Brian, my brothers that grew up with me dancing, even Rocksteady, Frosty. Frosty told Legs, the first person that he ever saw spinning on one hand was me. But Legs was like, no, because Legs is the almighty. But he's not. If you're the almighty, please release the footage of Lincoln Center. People want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. Our history deserves it. Why are you guys going faster in the movie from there? And we're slower. Come on. It's just, listen, you have a place. You've earned your place, right? You have. You're incredible. I have somebody, a young guy, sending me videos trying to explain to me about Top Rock and Brooklyn Rock. I was there, son. I was there. I saw it. I was part of it. We practiced it. We were battling people with it. Dynamic had it all. We had all the different things. In Lincoln Center, Rocksteady had footwork, chairs, and, Frosty. That was the specialty. And Muggsy, mugging. But then Kid Freeze would get up and do head spins on him. Back in the day. On our sneaker. You know how it is to go opposite the windmills and then put your feet together and then spin in the middle of that sneaker? Like the two things right there? Come on. That's how creative we were. And you know what? There are people now that are more creative. And the last thing I'm going to say is, I'm not going to say no names, but how if we have a body that's trying to put something together, does somebody, one person, go on top of that to be in charge? You know what I'm talking about. I'm not going to say any names. But I don't think that you're a good person to do that. Everybody's like, yeah, he's a great person. He's loving and kind. That's not loving and kind to take over. We don't need one person. The sculpture does not need one person. We need a committee of different minds. We need business people. We need lawyers. We need, people teaching about health. We need people teaching about suicide in our community. We need to talk to the kids who parents are constantly telling them that they can't do the arts for a living. We have a responsibility, y'all. And I'm telling you, this petty talking about your history and all this crap, it's ridiculous. I'm going to tell you, man, if it wasn't for New York City Breakers, Incredible Breakers, Scrambling Feet, man, most of them are dead because they were hustling. But these guys were no joke. They were good, man, and nobody talks about them. We gotta talk about all the heroes, in Brooklyn. We gotta talk about all the crews in the Bronx that are just not TBB. And what happened to the Manhattan Boys? Bingo, Crash. Those guys were amazing. Come on, guys. This doesn't belong to you. It doesn't belong to me. It doesn't belong to anybody. It doesn't belong to one person above everybody else trying to control what's going on. If you did that, shame on you. Shame on you. We already had that for the last couple of years. Somebody's holding us down or trying to. We need to elevate each other. We need to create an agency where we stop dancing for minimum wage. We can only do that if we're together. We can only do that if we're together, if we unite and say, no, you can't hire. Lino, because you've always been a historian. A historian because you share about everybody else. You give people props. You tell people that have been there before you, thank you. And let me tell you that this thing died for us in New York City. If it wasn't for Rockefeller and her man, You know, these people put that, they kept us going. My son's group, there was, Jiggs's group. There was a couple of groups that kept us going. In the 90s, we could have just been gone. And we are behind, people. First of all, let's talk about that. USA breaking. We got to keep saying that. USA breaking, not dancing. They shouldn't have the charge of us. And we can have a revolution about that. We can unite and change the game. We can do that. But we need to talk, and we need to have a book with the history. We need to have that book made by not one person, but all the people who were there. All the people before us, the people that came, that were there with us, and the people that came after us. And then we have to go also talk about the people in Europe. Like Storm, people like they talk about the people in Europe like they're nothing. They added to our culture. They added to it, and it's still growing. But we got to take it back, man. USA has to be, we got to take it back. This is our sport. It's our sport, our dance, our heart, our heritage. And if you don't think it's a sport, whatever way we have to get into the mainstream, we need to use that. And then we can monopolize it, and we can make people have a living in this. But you guys are petty out there talking about crap, adding legacies to things that are not true. And we need to stop this. We need to stop this. We're killing our culture. We need to water our culture. We need to plant seeds. And in the future, be a united nation. I love my culture. And again, like I was saying, I got shot in my neck. And the only reason I'm alive is because I did become a breaker. I was going to be a doctor, but I became a break dancer. And because of that, spinning on my head, I had bigger arteries and veins all over, take oxygen and blood to my brain. I was born to be doing this. And some of you were too. Some of you are too. Back in the days, man, it was some fun times. But we all did this together. There's not one bigger than the other. No matter how good Dynamic was, I don't want to be bigger. I want to be partner with you guys and freaking show. No matter how big TBB was, you shouldn't want to be bigger. We should be together. These are your children. If you guys were part of the beginning, I'm one of your children. Dynamic, because Frosty, well, I didn't start Dynamic, so I can't say that. But I am. Frosty was, came from you guys. So we have children too that we have to nurture and help and support. And we need to I would love to sit down with you, Angel Batch. I would love to. And I would love to sit down with some of the people from New York City Breakers. And I would love to sit down with some of the people, from Zulu Kings, everybody, whatever. We need to get together and talk about it. And then there's oh, wow, be honest about things. We do need to talk, my brother. We do. And I'm super excited about the future, man. We got some people doing some good stuff. And we need to support them and be involved with them. And the more that we do, the more we can take what we have back. Yes, Texas was strong. We can take this back. And we can make the rules. And then you know what? We create an environment where if you go outside of the environment and dance, we're going to alienate you, and eventually those people are not going to be getting, but if we all unite together, especially the USA, we don't know about Europe and all of them to join us, but we can start with us. We start with us. Stay united. All right? I love you guys, man. This is not mine. It's not yours. It's ours, and it belongs to the future, and the future looks bright. We got little kids, little freaking kids that are nasty. By the time... Look, like I said before, we got picked. Bambauta said that we were the astronauts of breaking. He looked at me, he said, Glide, you guys are the astronauts of breaking. But then we were outed because somebody made up some bullshit about us being ball busters, and we weren't. We weren't against Zulu, we weren't against ball busters. We were just doing our thing. You know what I'm saying? And so now we have some serious astronauts that are going to take it to the next level. And every level should be bigger and better. And the more that we flourish and the more that we water it and the more that we plant those seeds, the better it's going to be for all of us, man. I love you, man. Yo, Breaking Man is in the Olympics. It's a way in, and we can use this to benefit not the kids. They need representation. They need to be taken care of. They're gonna just be swallowed up in the thing if we don't step up. We need to step up. And again, if you just went above, it's by yourself. That's not a good thing to do. Even if you are a good person, you did the wrong thing. I don't really know you personally, but that's not the right thing to do. That's all I got to say. I got nothing but love for all the people who have put this, as their lives and have changed their lives because of it. Good for you, man. Thank you for everything that you've added to our culture. Let's keep growing. Peace out.